Okay, so I'm going to talk for a few minutes, and what I'm going to talk about is all connected to the stuff we were talking about all morning, right? So basically I introduced myself this morning, told you my story, found out about you guys. We're all here, hopefully we're all here because we're trying to improve our circumstances, because we're trying to get a job in the future, trying to improve our future, trying to improve our results, okay? So I spoke about SMART goal and I spoke about results, and when I spoke about results, I spoke about it in terms of actions. If we take actions, we get results, okay? But if you boil it down to the smallest part, all our results are based on basically two things, right? Our choices and our decisions. Now, if we trace back into the past, we can say, right, the results we have now are based on choices and decisions we made in the past. Correct? It's true, right? So, what am I talking about when I talk about results? Well, basically, the amount of money that I have in the bank is a result. It's the amount of money I have in the bank is a result of choices and decisions that I made. Okay? So I might have got lucky and I might have a good bit of money in the bank, but the luck is only going to carry me so far. If I made good decisions, if I made good choices, if I took advantage of luck, I hung on to some of the money or I managed the money well, right? My health, my condition of my health, my fitness, that's a result of choices and decisions that I've made in the past. Correct? Like, I'm overweight, not the fittest I've ever been in my life. Why? Because I made decisions and choices on a daily basis about what I was eating, what I was drinking, exercise or lack of exercise. Okay? So when I start to look at it like this, right, I'm taking responsibility. I'm taking responsibility for my current results by looking at the decisions and the choices that I made in the past, and the power that it gives me, the power that responsibility gives me, is it helps me to make different decisions and different choices in the present time to get different results in the future. Does this make sense? Now, when we talk about responsibility, most people mix it up with blame. Sometimes we think about responsibility in terms of blame, you know. Who's responsible? Who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for that? Is usually code for who's to blame for that or who's to blame for this, right? I'm here to say responsibility is a good thing. If we don't take responsibility, we're not going to make different choices. We're not going to make different decisions. If we get into the mindset that the only reason my results are bad is because I was just unlucky, it's the government's fault, it's the economy's fault, it's my mum and dad's fault. If I take that position, which is a position that we can all take at times, like there's definitely been times in my life when I've blamed the recession or blamed my mum and dad did nothing. So how could I ever fucking do well for myself? There's always going to be a time in your life when you don't want to take responsibility, because taking responsibility is hard. Facing a decision or a choice that you made in the past that didn't exactly work out very well is a hard thing to do. But you're better off to look at it. Like if I'm after making choices and decisions, and if I look back at them now, there have to be mistakes. And I'm after learning from those mistakes. Now, there have to be failures. But it's okay to fail. It's okay to make a mistake. Just learn from the mistake and change the choices and the decisions you're making for the future. Does this make sense? This is a huge thing, responsibility, because most of us will get stuck in blaming the economy, blaming the government, blaming the immigrants, blaming the mum and dad, blaming the weather, blaming everything. It's so much easier to blame someone else than it is to look at yourself and say, hang on a minute, who, John? You're overweight because you're eating too many pies, you're not doing the exercise, you don't drink enough water. That's why I'm overweight. I'm not overweight for any other reason, only the daily choices and decisions that I make. Okay? Now, these choices and decisions that get us the results, some of them are habits. In actual fact, the older we get, the more habits we have. Some of those habits are really good. People spoke here this morning about getting up every morning at 7:30, whether they're working or not. Good habit. Walking the dog every day, whether it's raining or not. Good habit. Like, lots and lots of people, they can thank their habits for their health. They can thank their habits even for their wealth. We all have habits around money. We all have habits around money. Some of us have a habit where we have to stick away a small bit of money into the bank every week. Some of us are lucky enough to have a habit like that. Some of us are in the habit of taking everything we have and spending it every week. I get money, I spend money. I get money, I spend money. It's a habit. Okay? So the habits that we have in our life will determine ultimately the results and the quality of our lives. Very important thing to realise, because then we can start looking at what our habits are, which are only choices and decisions, and we can start changing them. Now remember what I spoke this morning about, big changes like packing up the cigarettes, losing weight, going off the beer, saving money. These are all big things. These are not small changes, right? If you're going to make a big change in your life, you have to start with one step. You have to start by making the statement about what you're going to do. So for me, 1st of January 2018, I'm starting to lose weight. And first week in March 2018, I'm going to be 85 kilos. Okay, these are positive statements. Now I know it's going to take an awful lot of work, but the intention is there. The intention has to come first. Then I have to start examining my habits, and I have to start changing my habits. What's my biggest problem at the moment with weight? Well, beer. Beer is number one. White bread or bread, potatoes, carbs. I've identified those three. And the other thing is not drinking enough water. All very simple things. Very simple to point a finger at them. How easy it is to stop. How easy it is to change them around. Not so easy. Not so easy. But if I'm going to change the results, I have to change my choices and decisions, and one of the things that's going to help me is a habit. I take the responsibility for it. Now, your habits are unconscious. What do I mean unconscious? Well, basically, you do things out of habit without thinking about it, without awareness. Okay? Let's just be clear. So, the way you walk a certain way. No two people walk exactly the same way. So I walk a certain way. It's a habit. I don't think about it. If I'm video recording myself now doing this, right? If I look back at this, I'll be saying, Jesus, do I really look like that? Do I really move like that? I have a lazy eye. I've only noticed I have a lazy eye, right? These are the things you notice when you're playing back video, right? Your habits, right? So the way you carry yourself is a habit. The way you sit is a habit. Your tone of voice is a habit. Pace of speaking is a habit. Even the way you breathe is a habit. Okay? Like some people, when they get a little bit anxious, if I was waiting to go in for an interview, I was starting to get a little bit anxious, my breathing's going to change, get a little bit rapid, get a little bit shallow or rapid. Okay? These are the habits. They're things that I'm not even aware of. The way I drive the car is a habit. Okay? So, my eating habits, let's just zoom in on. For me to achieve my goal of 85 kilos by March, every choice and decision I make on a daily basis, eating no bread, eating no potatoes, has to become a habit. I don't even have to think about it. I don't even have to think about it. Plus, the people I live with, my wife, my kids, if my wife is cooking food for me, she has to know it has to be a habit for her as well. He doesn't have potatoes, he doesn't have bread. Does this make sense? If I'm going to make the results change, I have to change the habits. To change the habits, it's hard work. It's not going to feel right at the start. It's not going to feel right at the start. remember the statement that I gave you there, the SMART goal statement. I mean, when you read that out, like when you read that statement out, it's not going to feel right. It's not going to feel real. It's going to feel, hang on a minute, this is not true. Like 12.50 an hour, warehouse operative, Aldi. I don't think I can do. I'm not sure about that. It's going to feel. But if you were reading that out every day and you were reading out with some conviction, some of the people in the room here, when you read out your goal statements, you read it as if it was already after happening. You read it as if it was already true. Like, that's powerful, you know, because that's getting your unconscious mind convinced. The unconscious mind is the part we have to convince, you know. Like I said, the things we do every day unconsciously, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we carry ourselves, our tone of voice, everything, it's all unconscious. If you want to be someone who's successful, you behave like someone who's successful. How do they behave? What do they do? What time do they get up in the morning? What's their habit around food? What's their habit around money? What's their habit around relationships? We have to install it in the unconscious mind before we start behaving like that. Because that's where your actions come from. Your actions come from your behaviour. Does this make sense? Okay, so that's just a quick lesson on responsibility, which is connected to results, which is basically admitting that the choices and decisions I made is they have to get me the results that I have now. So if I want to improve my results in the future, I change my choices and decisions and I turn them into habits. And a habit is something that I do without even thinking about it. A habit is easy. A habit is usually something you do every day. Okay? It's part of your unconscious. Your habits are in your unconscious. Two parts to your mind, conscious mind, unconscious mind. What does the unconscious mind do? Well, it beats your heart. It regulates your body temperature. It opens and closes all the valves for your digestive system. It organises your respiratory system. But it also is in charge of your habits. When you're driving the car, you're unconsciously changing gear, changing pedals, everything. You know, like next week when you start driving the forklifts, when you get on the forklift first, you're going to be very, you know, I'm not sure what to do. You have to be very deliberate with everything. But hopefully before the end of the week, you'll be focusing on racking where the forks are and everything. But you won't have to be thinking about acceleration, steering. That'll happen unconsciously by day 3, day 4. Is this making sense? Okay. So, quick lesson on responsibility, choices and decisions. And the good thing about that is we can make choices and decisions now that will give us better results in the future. Starting with making a plan to get a job, and then creating the CV, creating the cover letter, and then of course the biggest thing of all, the commitment to getting into a habit of doing the work that's required to be done to get us the job interview, because that's the best we can offer at the very start. Okay folks, thanks for that. Jason, would you mind hitting that button again please?